Just really wanted to share some of our data we have. So we've got 44 Commonwealth countries have signed the MOU, which is fantastic. And our purpose really is the sharing of knowledge and expertise. Really, we're starting to build that community of donation and transplantation experts across the Commonwealth. And we're growing from strength to strength. But I wanted to just share some actual numbers. So we have 56 member countries of the Commonwealth, and as I said, 44 of those countries have signed the MOU. And one of the key aspects of the MOU is that, I'll read it, the signatory parties will commit to collating and annually sharing their national donation and transplantation activity to the Global Observatory on Donation and Transplantation, the GODT. And we have seen some progress. So you can see on this chart in 2018, there were 14 countries declaring their data to the GODT. And this is important that we all share, even if our number is 0, because we can't actually count unless we even know where things are. So then in 2019, Bangladesh got added, but unfortunately Kenya and South Africa dropped out. And then in 2020, Kenya and Sri Lanka joined giving their data. So we went up again, which is excellent. Then in Jamaica joined in 2021. Then Barbados was giving data, but we lost Malaysia and Sri Lanka. So you can see there's a bit of up or down, but Guyana and Malaysia and Sri Lanka all joined in 2023, and South Africa re-established able to give data in 2024. And I know there's some challenges with the GODT in giving data, and we'd like to work with them to make it easier. But nonetheless, we began the project, our MOU, in 2022, and we have seen some increasing in those numbers. But it would be great if we could, hit in 2025, because they're starting to collect all the data now for last year. Please send your data in. Well, and if you have trouble, let us know, and we can try to find ways to work with the GODT. Even if your number is 0, it's really important that we can actually see how we're going. And this is just a core part of the MOU. Now we'll move to some global data. So here, this is not just Commonwealth, this is everywhere. This is where we are as a world. And not everyone declares their data to the GODT, as we talked about. But if we look at living kidney donation first, it's risen 7% since the global pandemic. I've taken it from 2019 year, not 2018 year, because I thought that would be a better comparison. Living liver donor transplants has risen 29%, which is a huge increase, even growing quicker than living kidney donor transplants. When we come to deceased donation, it's risen 11% overall since 2019, so since COVID, and DBD up 2%, and DCD, massive increase of 41%. Now let's look at the same time periods, but looking just at the Commonwealth donation activity from the nations who've declared that. You will see in here that living kidney donor transplants has risen 31%, but living liver donor transplants has risen an incredible 97%. Total deceased donation is up 10%. Majority of that rise has been in DCD, but also rising in donation after brain death. So that's sort of some numbers for you there. So a little bit of so I went through the data. This was quite a manual process, so any errors here are completely my own. But what I wanted to see is the most improved in deceased donors per million since COVID. So I've taken the year before COVID, 2019, then up to the data from 2024. And to be in this little quiz here, poll, you had to have declared data to the GODT in 2019 and 2024. But a recognition of countries that have had any deceased donors in the last 5 years and declared that is Bangladesh, Pakistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, number 3, drum roll, was India, with a 50% increase in donors per million population, rising from 0.5 to 0.8. Number 2 for silver, Cyprus has risen 85% in donors per million population, rising from 5 to 9.2 deceased donors per million population. And the number 1 country, Malaysia, 163% rise in donors per million population, going from 0.5 in 2019 to 1.3 deceased donors per million population. So congratulations, Malaysia, for that. But special mention I'd like to give is to Bangladesh, who in 2023 had one donor after brain death, and in 2024, one. Pakistan, two in 2023 and one in 2024. And special mention to Sri Lanka, which has got some very high numbers there, but didn't make the cut, for 74 and then 70 in that rise. So recognizing all those countries that are sort of contributing to deceased donors across the Commonwealth. Now let's go to most improved living kidney donation since pre-COVID. So many more countries are doing living donation than deceased donation across the Commonwealth. And you can see there were 13 countries that actually declared data to the GODT in both 2019 and 2024. Additional countries with any living kidney activity declared in the last 5 years: Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, Kenya, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. So bronze medal for Malaysia, which increased 62% in donors per million population for living kidney donation. And then Cyprus, another 85%, a very sort of good increase for Cyprus. And finally, the best was Trinidad and Tobago, 133% increase from 2.9 to 6.7 donors per million population. Special mention to Bangladesh with a 42% rise, Nigeria with a 37% rise, and India with a 27% rise. And I know percents aren't always the best way to show, but hopefully the per million population can really compare us across the Commonwealth. And finally, going to most improved living liver donation since pre-COVID. This is quite a new thing for many countries, but some have got well-established and very high-performing services. So there were only 6 countries who declared living liver donor activity in 2019 and 2024. And they are Australia, Jamaica, New Zealand, Canada, India, Malaysia, Pakistan, Singapore, and United Kingdom, with recognition for other countries with some activity in the last 5 years: Australia, Jamaica, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. Okay, in bronze, you will see United Kingdom, 48% rise. And it's a very new program for us in the UK. So there's quite a considerable rise for us. Pakistan, who's been doing very high numbers, has increased by 80% since pre-COVID. And India has increased by 88%. So Pakistan and India are certainly in getting substantial numbers in living liver donation. Special mention for Canada, which is 18% rise, rising to 2.53 living liver donations per million population. So just very quickly, we have the full data here. You can just run through this. You can see the different countries and how they're actually performing here. Then Guyana, India, Jamaica, Kenya, and Malaysia. And hopefully you can see this on the YouTube if you want to watch it again and see these slides in detail with Malta, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Singapore. And finally, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Trinidad, Tobago, and United Kingdom. So I think this is a really important piece of work. I'll go back to my opening slide, that we sort of recognize our progress. But please, the most important thing I would say from my talk is, can we increase our reporting to the GODT, because that will be helpful for everyone.